Okay, so with our bracing, we're going to start seated. So if you are in a chair, sit forward in your chair. Feel free to also sit down on the ground in more of a comfortable position. So you can have your feet flat, you can sit cross-legged, whichever is more comfortable for you. So I just want us to take a moment here and just sit up nice and tall and then roll our shoulders back. And then breathe in and out. But when we breathe, I want us to do like more belly breathing. So when we inhale, I want our bellies to go out. And then as we exhale, we cinch our whole belly in to include our obliques on the side. So we're not just trying to draw our navel in. We're like making our belly soft and then we're squeezing everything in. It's almost like if you were to imagine our bodies are a can of soda and we're squeezing our whole hand around that can of soda. So we want to have that whole squeezing feeling around our body, like kind of wrapped around us, not just here in our stomach, but you should feel tightness here as well. Another thing is, say you have, I don't know, maybe a younger sibling or older sibling, or if you did this to one of your siblings and they went to like punch you in the stomach and you tighten. When you tighten, you actually tighten your whole core to include your glutes and your pelvic floor, which is very important as we get older as well. So just sit up nice and tall, roll your shoulders back. So you're going to let your belly kind of sag. Don't worry about it poking out or anything. All of our bellies will be poking out together. So you let it be loose and you inhale and it goes out. And then as you exhale, everything tightens. Also, when we're tightened through our whole entire core, you'll notice that our chest is not like splayed open, like our heart's not to the sky. Our chest is more in a neutral position. So because when you cinch your obliques and your back and your abdominals, it draws, you have these muscles called like intercostals and things like that, and it draws your rib cage in. So when we inhale and everything is loose and then we exhale, everything tightens, you'll probably feel a little drawing down of like these lower ribs here. And that is actually correct. So don't, it might feel a little odd at first, but it shouldn't cause any dysfunction or pain. So inhale, let your belly get all loose. Exhale, everything tightens. It's like you have a band or your body is trying to hug itself. So let's do that one more time. Inhale, so our belly softens. Exhale, everything tightens. So now that we've tightened everything, we should be able to still breathe in a normal manner. So it's almost like an isometric hold. You're just exerting tension here on your body, but you should be able to breathe normally. So if you let go of your belly and inhale and you're like gasping for breath, then you're probably sucking in with your belly button instead of just tightening everything. So let's sit up nice and tall one more time. Make sure our shoulders are back and down. Let our bellies be soft and then exhale, everything tightens. So now that everything's tightened, if you look, everything should be stacked on top of each other. So like your back is stacked like over your pelvis, your shoulders are over your back, and then your neck and your head are neutral. So you shouldn't feel like any discomfort or anything here in your neck or in your head anywhere, like through here or anything. So now that we're sitting nice and tall, shoulders are back. I'll turn this way so you can see me better. We're just going to hold our bracing here. So remember, we're like either like that hug, we're trying to hug ourselves so everything's nice and tight all the way around, 360, or you're bracing for, say you're doing MMA or something like that. So what we're gonna do first, we're just gonna hold this tightness and you should still be able to breathe normally. And we're just going to tilt our head to one side and back to center, and then the other side and back to center. Let's do this again. Now this time we're going to look. So be careful with your range of motion if you have any sort of like balance issues, even though I know we're seated, but you don't want to cause yourself to be dizzy. So just look where it's comfortable for your head to turn and back to center. And let's look the other way and back center. Let's do one more this way. And then the other way. Good. So also be careful with this one. We're going to look down and then up and down and up. Let's do a couple more here. So just be careful if you've had any sort of like neck surgery, like if you've had any thyroid surgery or anything like that, because I know sometimes we can't extend our head up this way very far, and that's totally okay. You don't want to cause any discomfort. So now let's check back in with our seated position. Shoulders are back and down. Inhale, let the belly soften. Exhale, everything cinches in like a hug, or if you are mean to your siblings or your siblings mean to you and they punched you and you tightened up. All right, so we're going to tilt our head down. We're going to bring our chin towards our chest and rotate to the other ear. And then let's go back the other way. Let's do this a couple more times. You can go at your own pace or you can stay with me. And just a disclaimer, if you happen to see any bruises or anything when I like raise my arms, it's from when I fell off the lift last week, so, but I'm good. I just want to let you know, in case you're like, oh my goodness, so. Let's do a couple more here. All right, so now that we're sitting properly and we've sort of gone through our head and our neck, let's take a moment to check back in to our bracing. I'm going to turn sideways again, just in case you missed it the first time. So we're sitting forward on the edge of our chair, or you can take a comfortable seat on the floor. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to relax our belly as we breathe in, and then as we exhale, we cinch everything in, just like this. So now that everything's cinched in, though, you should still be able to breathe normally. So we're going to add in some shoulder rolls from here. So everything's nice and tight. So let's just roll one shoulder back, alternating. And let's go the other way. So I know this move sometimes feels a little weird, but it actually is pretty good for range of motion. And then it also helps us with some lifts, like if you're into lifting. So when we do roll our both shoulders back and down, and we feel like our shoulder blades, our scapula, like glide down our back so that they're not poking out. If we can remember this feeling of how it feels to have them gliding, I'll turn to the side really quick. So instead of being out like this, but rolling them back and down, this helps to save with pain and dysfunction, and also helps us know how it feels to have them tucked down so that when we lift, we don't flare out. Let's take a couple more rolls here. And then let's go forward. So this one will feel kind of opposite, but you should still feel your scapula glide back down, probably down and up as we roll forward. All right, so take a few moments to breathe here, and then let's make our belly soft as we inhale. I know it feels weird, we kind of don't want to do that, but I promise everyone's bellies are poking out. And then as we exhale, we tighten everything in. So you should feel like a cinch 360 You should feel your ribs come in as well, but you're still able to breathe normally. You should be able to brace and carry on a conversation. So if you're winded, then you're probably bracing too much, or you're just pulling your belly button in and then going more into the C curve that we do for Pilates. All right, so now that we're sitting here, if you're sitting on the floor, find a comfortable, probably cross-leg position. We are going to start bringing our arms up and down and up and down. Up and down and up and down. And then we're going to bring our arms up and turn or twist. These can be small twists because we're still warming up here. If you hear breathing at the door, my dog has managed to open the garage door. He's magical. So I did put them outside though, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can't open this door. It's the same kind of latch. We'll see. A few more here. All right, so we're going to do a couple of exercises now that we've reviewed our abdominal bracing. So feel free to stay seated on the floor. I'm going to also demo these though in the chair. So the first one that we're going to do is a jumping jack. This is just to give another option. I know usually, like if you want to, you can stand and do these. And you can do our usual jumping jacks here. Or if you want to do the full jumping jack, feel free to do that as well. I'm going to show you another variation. This goes in line with our abdominal bracing. So we sit forward in our chair, and then we're going to bring our heels off the ground. And initially, you're going to step one leg out and in and out and in. Just small tap here. All right, so now this time when you step your foot out, put your heel down, make the movement a little bigger. And you can add arms in, just like we do when we're standing. You can speed it up a little. All right, and then if you would like, you can do both feet out at the same time. So it's out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. So moves like this are why our abdominal bracing are important, because if our abdominals are braced, like if we have that 360 squeeze, it helps us to bring everything back in when we're here in this resting pose. So let's try a few more and go a little faster. So let's recheck in with our bracing. So for now, feet flat if you're seated. If you're standing, feet are still flat. Tighten your glutes and your thighs. Inhale, exhale, and you'll still feel that same tightening as if we're sitting here. And we inhale with a soft belly and then exhale and tighten everything in. So let's do 4, however you'd like to do it. I'm going to do these just because I think they're really cool and I like that option. And we'll go to tempo. All right, bring our toes up. Make sure everything's still nice and cinched. All right, and let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So the next one that I want to go into is called a skater switch. If you'd like to stand for this one, I'll show you really quickly. We're still kind of warming up, but you can lunge left and right. If you'd like, you can add in a reach. So if my right leg is lunging, my left arm is reaching and coming in and reach and in. I'm going to demo this one seated though. So same concept if you're seated. If I take my left leg out, I'm going to reach forward and in. And then to the right and in, just like this. So same concept as if you were standing. So from the front, reach and in. So it's opposite arm and leg. And if you want to be more up, that's totally fine. If you want to be more down and like actually touch the ground here, you can also do that. So whether you want to be seated or standing, let's do 8 of those total. So let's check back in with our bracing. Soft belly as we inhale. Exhale, everything tightens, everything cinches. It's like our can of soda. And then we're going to do half time first. So it's out and in. Other side, out and in. 2 more here. 1 more here. And let's go to tempo. It's out and in. Out and in. Out. Out. 4 more here. 4. 3. 2. And 1. All right, so we have another cardio burst to do. So it's going to be high knees. If you're standing, you have the option to just march. You can bring your knees all the way up if you'd like. You can run. However you'd like to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it in a chair. So we're going to sit at the edge of our chair. We're going to engage our abdominals with our abdominal bracing. We're going to hinge back till our shoulders barely touch the back of the chair. Straighten your legs out. You should feel everything cinched. If everything is cinched here, it should be supporting you. Like I should be able to see how I can just lift up here, but I can still breathe and talk to you guys. So what we're going to do is just bring one leg in and down, other leg in and down. Up and down, up and down. So we'll do 4 at that pace. Like I said, feel free to stand up and just do high knees if you'd like. You can run, you can march. We'll do 4 at that tempo, and then we'll speed it up. And then after that, we've got 1 more, and we'll get into our standing portion. All right. So I'm going to bring my feet up, sit up nice and tall. I'm going to hinge back. So remember the hinge, it's like we're literally a hinge. We're not curving in because we're holding on with our abdominals doing the bracing. So hinge back to where your shoulders touch. Straighten out those legs. Let's bring one knee in and down. In and down. 2 more here. In and down. 1 more here. In and down. Tempo for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Okay, shake that out. Our last kind of cardio burst before we get into our standing portion. We're going to do some sit to stands. So if you'd like, feel free to stand and just do some bends. So remember, the bend is more like you're trying to stretch your shins. Or if you'd like, feel free to squat. But I'm going to demonstrate the sit to stand. So you're going to want to sit further back in your chair. Feet are still planted on the ground, nice and flat. So when you stand up, you're still going to engage your glutes. You still have that abdominal bracing going on. And then sit back down. So the goal is to stand straight up and then sit back down. So don't lean and lift, because that will cause dysfunction here in your back. We want to stand straight up. So feet are nice and flat on the ground. Let's soften our bellies on our inhale. Exhale and cinch everything or tense everything in. And even though everything's tense, check in. Make sure that you can still breathe. We're just holding everything tight, but we can still breathe. You can still see my chest here rising and falling. All right, so let's do 8 sit-to-stands. You can do it at your own pace. So if you prefer to just do 4, you can do half time. Feel free also to do bends or squats. So everything's braced, shoulders are back and down, arms are at our side. Let's go for 8, 7, still squeezing our glutes at the top, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Okay, one other disclaimer. If you happen to hear any popping, that is also from falling off the lift. But it doesn't hurt or anything. I'm good. So, just so you know. A little bruise, a little popping here and there, but I'm good. All right, so we're going to stand up for now. I'm going to move my chair and my mat out of the way. We are going to go into some wide bends for cardio. If you want to, here you can grab some weights or like a water bottle or something. I'm going to demonstrate without. So we're going to repeat this 4 times. The bends are going to stay the same. The part that's going to change is our arms. We're going to do bicep curls for 1. We'll just lift and lower for another one. And then we'll have our hammer curls for our 3rd round, and then shoulder press for the 4th round. So, stand up nice and tall. Bring your heels together. Remember, turnout comes from the hips. So, if you're feeling any dysfunction here in your hips, close your feet in a little, and that should do the trick. All right, so even in this stance, we can do our abdominal bracing. So I really want you guys to focus on that. So it doesn't matter how deep you squat. I still want you to focus here on keeping everything cinched in so that when you come back in to this neutral first position, your abdominals are helping you move instead of you completely burning out your legs and your hip flexors and your calves and all of that. So you can go as big or as small as you'd like to, but just really try to focus on keeping that 360-degree tightness here. And it really extends from our glutes, through our pelvis up, through our ribs, into like our throats. Like all of that. That's really, if you can engage this, that will save you so much effort and dysfunction everywhere else in your body. Okay, end of that spiel. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start off. We're going to alternate wide bend. So we're going to step out and in. Other side. Out and in. Again, other side. Out and in. Out and in. Let's speed it up. It's out and in. Out and in. Out, out. 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's step out wide. Bend down and hold. Let's bring our arms down. Curl them into a fist if you like. We're going to do hammer curls first. Up for 2 and down. Up for 2 and down. Up and down. One more here. Up and down. Sink a little lower. It's up and down. 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. Sink a little lower if you can. Feel free also to grab your chair here and hold on to your chair if you'd like. That's always an option. All right. We're going to sink down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. I know it burns. Feel free to grab your chair if you'd like. We're going to lift one heel, lift and lower, lift and lower. Feel free to lift both heels at the same time if you'd like. 2 more. 1, hold here. Come up, shake that out. Grab some water if you need it. We're going to start over from the beginning. This time, we'll lift our arms up and down when we get to the arm section. Just shake that out. When you're ready, bring your heels together. Glutes are engaged. Thighs are engaged. That will help you when you inhale and then exhale to cinch everything in. Shoulders are back and down. Remember, our scapula are here gliding down our back. So we're still focusing on keeping everything braced as we move through the exercise. All right, let's go. Half tempo. It's out and in. Out and in. 2 more here. Out and in. After this one, we're going tempo. Tempo for 8. Out and in. Out and in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring our feet out. Still braced. And sink it down. Bring our arms down. Palms are facing each other. Make fists. It's up for 2 and down. Up and down. 2 more here. Up and down. Up and down. Tempo for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. I know it burns. You're doing awesome. And it's down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Hold here and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up. Stretch that out. Grab your water. Feel free to do like a quad stretch. All right. We're on to round 3. So if you ever see me do 3, this is actually the sign for 3 in sign language. This one's actually a W, so trying to be conscious of that and signing 3 instead. So it might look a little weird, but that's actually 3. All right. This next one, we're going to do regular bicep curls when we get to the arms. All right. Find your first position, your athletic V. Engage those glutes. and your quads and hamstrings, that should automatically want you to engage your lower abdominals. We're going to breathe out, make our belly soft, or breathe in, sorry, making our belly soft. Exhale to tighten everything in. Roll our shoulders back and down. Everything should be nice and stacked. So from the side, we look like this. Everything is nice and stacked, so I'm not poking out anywhere or sitting forward. Everything's just nice and neutral. To be kind of, your limbs, your arms can be kind of loosey-goosey, but everything through here is tight. All right, we're going to start with our 4 slow and then go fast. Step out and in. Out and in. 2 more here. Out and in. Last one here. Out and in. 8 to tempo. Out and in. Out and in. Out and in. Out and in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring our feet wide. Sink down. We should still have our core engaged here. 360. Let's bring our arms down. Palms are going to face up. Feel free to grab your weights here if you'd like. Make fists. And it's up for 2 and down. Up and down. 2 more here. Up and down. Up and down. 8 to tempo for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sink a little lower. And it's down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. Feel free to grab your chair here if you'd like. Put it in front of you. Just like that. 1 more here. Hold down and pulse. Let's pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift and lower. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. Let's bring our arms into 90 degrees and out and in. Just a little extra bonus. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Bring that up. Take a moment to stretch that out if you need to. Quad stretch. Remember, another option for quad stretch is to place your foot here against the wall. Press forward through your pelvis, and it will stretch your hip flexors and your quads here. All right. We've got 1 more in this series. It's going to be our shoulder press. Feel free to grab weights. If you want to hold on to your weights the whole time, instead of opening your arms, if you want to, feel free to bring them here and hold your arms here. Shoulders are still back and down, so our scapula is still gliding down our back. All right. Find your first position, or your athletic V, whichever you like to call it, or pizza slice. That's popular, especially with the littles. All right. Stand up nice and tall. Glutes and thighs are engaged. Inhale, belly softens. Exhale, everything is squeezed in, like an isometric hold, or like that Coke can, or you're bracing for impact. So nice and tall, shoulders back. This is our last set of this one, and then we're going to move into some other exercises. All right, nice and tall. Let's step out and in. out, and in, out, and in. One more here, out, and in. 8 to tempo for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's step out wide. Sink low. Our core is still engaged, 360. Let's bring our arms up like a cactus. Make fists if you'd like, or keep them here. It's up to you. All right. It's up for 2 and down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. 8 to tempo 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your arms down. Hold this here. Feel free to grab your chair if you'd like. Ooh, I know it burns. You're doing awesome. It's down, halfway up. Down, halfway up. Check in. Make sure everything is still nice and cinched. Hold down and pulse. Hold down, lift one heel and lower. Lift and lower. 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. Bring our arms here to the side. You're just going to lift and lower. I know it burns. Doing awesome. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right. Grab water. Stretch that out. We are going to go into a plank series. I'm going to demonstrate the plank series on the ground. You can use the wall if you'd prefer. So when we're in our front plank, you can be here on the wall if you'd like. Side plank, you can be here. We're still focusing on the abdominal bracing. So that's what's most important. So it doesn't matter if you go all the way down to the floor, or you use your wall, or your chair. Whatever feels great for you tonight is what you should do. I know even with myself, sometimes I prefer to use a chair or the wall over actually being down on the floor. So we always have options. There's no competition. It's all about listening to your body and what you can safely do within your movement that day. Because it always changes. Always. So take a moment and breathe in and out. We are going to go into plank. You have the option, if you're on the floor, to do a high plank here or low plank, however you want to clasp your hands, whatever variation. So what I want you to focus on in plank tonight, we are going to do plank with our legs zipped together. So thighs touching, feet touching. So it's kind of going to be more like our toes and our heels are touching, like the inner portion here of our feet are going to touch. So everything down the center will touch. All right. And like I said earlier, if we don't get through all of the abdominal exercises tonight, then I'll do a supplemental video with the rest of the ab exercises and going through hollow body, because we do actually use that for Pilates when we're doing our, when we're tucked here and we're doing our leg lifts. So if we don't get to that, I'll post it later in the week. All right, so onto our plank. What I want to focus on first for plank is just a hold, so that we can feel what it should feel like when we're embracing all of our core to do the work for our plank. All right, so if you're in high plank or low plank or on the wall, come into your plank position. Everything's zipped together. So by zipping everything together, this is going to make us want to tighten our thighs, which will make us want to tighten our glutes, which will make us want to cinch 360 around our waist, right? And then we should push forward just a little, because our hands should be directly like under our shoulders. Like, we don't want to be back here. When we go back here, this is when we start to poke our glutes out. And we don't want to do that, right? So we want to make sure we're more forward. We tighten everything. You should still be able to breathe here. And let's just hold here for a moment. You might be shaking, and that's totally fine. All right, you can bring your knees down. You can either come into child's pose or just sit back. So it's pretty much the same thing when we come to our side plank. I'll give you two options for side, well, really three options for side plank. If you'd like, you can stand here and then kind of lean and walk your hand up the wall and be here. You can still work on bracing. You might feel a bit of a stretch in the side that's towards the wall, but that's okay because we'll do the other side. And then as you go, you can sort of walk yourself further down the wall and then get down to the floor. So if you'd like an option for the floor that's not both legs up, you can lay towards the edge of your mat. Bring both legs towards the corner. Bring one arm under you, so shoulder and elbow are under each other. Don't flare out down here. Come up. The leg that's on the bottom, curl it under. When you go to get into your side plank, inhale, everything softens. As you exhale and tighten everything, lift that hip off the ground. And then you're in side plank. You still get all the bracing. This just gives your legs and your core just a bit of a break if you're not ready for both legs. If you'd like to do both legs, you can either put your hand in front of you or here or here. I just kind of like to stick my arm out for some reason. And it makes me remember, I guess, to keep my chest forward and not sink. So soften your belly. Belly's going out as you inhale. As you exhale and tighten everything in, lift those hips. And let's hold here just for a moment. Everything's zipped up nice and tight. My glutes are still engaged. My thighs are engaged. My core 360 is engaged, but I'm still able to sit here and talk and breathe normally. And let's come down. All right, let's switch to the other side. So same thing. I'm going to go towards the edge of my mat here. I'm going to make sure my elbow is under my shoulder. Stick my legs out, bring them to the corner. If you want to do one knee down, your lower leg here that's touching the ground is just going to bend. And then you'll lift yourself up on the exhale. Or you can have both legs out. Inhale, make your belly soft. As you exhale and tighten, lift this glute off the floor and hold. So you might feel like this side is harder, but that just happens sometimes when we've worked one side of the body already. So you might feel like a little bit more shakiness on this side than you did on the last side. All right, and let's come down. All right, so we are going to go into our C curve. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. If you want to, you can sit in your chair, sit at the edge of your chair, and you can hold on to the sides of the chair. If you're here on the floor with me, sit nice and tall. So this time, and I know we've been doing abdominal bracing the whole entire night, but just to change it up just a little, because I know some of you probably do Pilates and yoga. When we go into the C curve, if we do our abdominal bracing, we're doing more of a hinge, right? But sometimes in Pilates, you get that curve here where your head is trying to reach your neck. And if you do it in a safe way, it's correct. But most everything else uses the abdominal bracing instead of the hollow body. So, but just to review, sit up nice and tall. Hold under your knees. Don't hold on them or in front. Hold here. So when we inhale, our belly is still going to soften. But when we exhale, it's like we're trying to pull our belly button in. And as we pull our belly button in, it curves us and it brings our head more towards our chest. And then we sit up. And then we curve and sit up. Curve and sit up. One more here. Curve and sit up. All right, so versus our hollow or our bracing that we've done all night, if we want to brace, we sit up and we turn sideways so you can see a little better. And since we're braced, we're going to hinge and see how my head still stays up. Everything's in a line. And then come up. Hinge and come up. Versus the hollow body where I curve and up, curve, and up. All right, so I just wanted to review that because we do that in here, and I didn't want you to think when we get to the C curve that you have to try to maintain the brace and then you're not able to move correctly. So, all right, let's go into hover. Couple options for hover. Remember, hover is kind of like our tabletop where we bring our knees closer in. So from the side, it's here. If you want, when you tuck your toes, you can just practice lifting one knee at a time. You can lift both knees up and hold. So we're just going to do a hold. All right. So curl your toes under and just either lift one knee or both. And we'll just hold here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can sit back, roll out your wrists for a moment. We're going to do that one more time. All right. Curl our toes under and lift and hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lower. Take a moment and shake that out. So, we've got one more bracing that we're going to do. You can stay with me here and do it on the floor, or you can grab your chair and sit down and do the bracing. We're just going to do some bicep curls. So we're going to be up on kind of on our knees, but we want to make sure we're more on our shins so that we're not directly on our knees and hurting them. If you need to, you can take your mat and you can like fold it up and like put your knees on here for like some extra cushion if you need it. That's always an option. So you can grab your weights here if you want or do without. What I want you to focus on is your abdominal bracing here in this position. So it's totally fine to do it without the weights. So my feet are going to be flat. I don't have them curled under. You can curl under, but I find that it's better flat. So roll our shoulders back and down. It'll probably feel a little weird, but engage your glutes. And you are going to feel some engagement more in your inner thighs here. Soft belly when you inhale. Exhale and cinch everything in. So we're gonna hold here. We're gonna lean back just a little, hinge at the knees, and curl. Hinge and curl. Hinge and curl. Hinge and curl. Small movement here. 4 more. 3. 2 more here. 1 more here. We're going to hinge back and hold and curl for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come forward. You can go back into a child's pose. Feel free to widen if you'd like, or bring knees all the way in, whichever child's pose feels best for you. And then when you're ready, we are going to come onto our backs. And we are going to work on our glutes just for a moment, and then we'll get into stretching. There are a couple that I skipped over tonight, so I will do a video later this week to add them in, because I think it's really important to know how to use your abdominal bracing when you're doing the bird dog position. Like if you're into yoga and you do all of these and whatnot. So I feel like it's really important to know the bracing for this. So I'll upload that and a good stretch later this week. So feet flat. If you want to, you can come down to the ground to do this. You don't have to. If you want to sit in your chair to do a glute exercise instead, sit here in your chair with knees together, feet together. You're going to clench everything. See how my arms are relaxed here? When I clench, including my glutes, it kind of pulls me up straight. And you can do this, and it'll work your abdominals and your glutes. I'm going to demonstrate the glute bridge down on the floor. So, what I like to do, which helps me remember my bracing, is to take a few breaths here, just breathing in and out, to feel how my back feels on the floor. And then when I'm ready to do the glute bridge, I like to dig my heels in, or make sure that my weight is more like towards my heels instead of fully in my feet, but it helps me to bring my toes up to remember to use my heels. Even here, when you exhale, soften your belly, and then, or as you inhale, soften your belly, and then when you exhale, tighten everything up. But you still should be able to breathe, even though you're holding everything tight. So you're going to push up through your heels, which will make you activate your glutes and thighs, and they'll lift off the floor and come up into a glute bridge. And when you do this glute bridge, you should feel it probably in your hamstrings, your glutes, and through your back and your core, since you're doing the bracing. And lower. Push up. And lower. Up. And lower. Push up. And let's hold here. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And lower. You can bring your knees in. If you're seated in your chair, you might just want to bring like one knee in. Feel free to like kind of rock and roll. Whatever feels good on your back, or just hold here. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then, however you can get into a seated position, whether you roll to one side and carefully sit up, or if you're a yogi and you want to rock a couple times and come up, that's up to you. We're just going to take a moment and stretch. Since I'm here, I'll stay seated on the floor, and we'll do a couple of twists, and then we'll migrate up to do a quad and hamstring stretch. All right, so just sit up like we did in the beginning. Even though we're seated, we can still brace our core. So you can soften your belly when you inhale, and then when you exhale, cinch everything in. Shoulders are back and down. And even though you're cinched, you should still be able to see like the small like rise and fall of your chest, or feel it. Head and neck are neutral. Let's bring both arms up and cactus them down. Bring both arms up again and cactus down. Let's do that one more time. Bring both arms up and cactus down. Let's add in our twist. Both arms up. I'm going to twist to my right. Let's hold here for a moment. A few deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, center. Inhale. Let's twist to the other side and hold. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, center. Let's reach to one side. And the other side. One more. Other side. Since we're seated, we can do a seated cat and cow. So soften your belly as your chest, head, and neck arch forward. Exhale and round into that hollow for cat. Soften as we inhale. Curve as we exhale. Feel free to, if it's within your practice, you can do some circles here instead and circle the other way. Or you can just stick to the seated cat and cow. Go at your own pace. Just do a couple more, whichever way you would like to do it. All right. However you'd like to functionally move, carefully stand up. You can use your chair, your wall. Try to use your bracing as you stand so that you don't like arch forward or back and cause any dysfunction on anything. All right, so we're going to do just a couple of quad stretches. So next week is actually a holiday. So I believe it's President's Day. And so there won't be class since we follow the school district calendar, but there will be class the week after. And so what I want to do for that class is to do like a more ballet, Pilates inspired class. So probably a lot of first positions and rises and working on balance, and probably more of the hollow hold that we were doing just a little bit ago in our cat and cow. And let's bring our feet just a little wide. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, down. Up. And down. Let's go into a calf and hamstring stretch. So feel free to either cross and bend, which you can hold onto your chair if you'd like to do that. You can bend all the way down. It will stretch this back leg. You can do a forward lunge, which again will stretch the back leg, or sit back and have the front leg stretched, and that's where you'll feel it, through this hamstring and this calf. So whichever one you would like to do. So like I said, I will upload later this week the bird dog, how to engage your core and do the abdominal bracing in bird dog, because I feel like that one is really important. And so I'll go through that, and probably a good stretch. So maybe 15, 20 minutes. So look for that later on in the week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nice to be back. I did have a great time in Colorado, but it wasn't the same, you know, as being here with you guys and doing Barre. So let's bring our feet wide one more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's do a big inhale up and hold. Huge exhale through the mouth. One more, inhale and hold. As we exhale, cactus the arms down. Awesome job tonight, you guys. So you'll probably feel the bracing tomorrow or a couple days from now. I know it probably doesn't seem like much when we first go through it, but trust me, you'll feel it. So I hope you all have a great rest of the week, and look out for the bird dog and the stretching. And I will see you on the, let's see, I think it's the 22nd, when we'll do our kind of ballet Pilates inspired bar class. So until then, have a great week, and I'll see you guys later.